During my life abroad for the last, 17 to 20 years, I've heard a lot of interesting rumors about Americans' IQ concerning the geography of the world. This morning, I was talking to my middle sister and she was just saying some off-the-wall things concerning the geography of the world, like where things are. And the funny thing is that a lot of my friends often ask me, like, are you in North Korea? Or before they would say, like, are you in China? And I'm like, bruh, it just got me thinking, like, do Americans really know about Korea? Yo, it's Francois Marc. Welcome back to the channel. Man, I've heard some crazy things about the world, but never before did I hear anything so funny as how my middle sister was describing the world to me this morning. And what's funny is that while she was describing the world to me, it brought me back to my trip to Mongolia over the summer when I met a friend from Turkey. So my friend told me about her perspective and the perspective of Turkish people, a lot of Turkish people, how they think Americans are dumb concerning like geography because she watches a lot of TikTok videos or YouTube shorts or Instagram reels depicting Americans in a very bad light when it comes to answering questions about geography.
We said, name a country, any country, and here's how that went.
Can you name any country on this map?
Honestly, my geography is so horrible. I can't name anything, like
Try
nothing.
naming something.
Is it South Africa?
Nope.
We had the country of Asia.
Nope. That's a continent. And
So while listening to my sister, I was talking to her about my trip. I'm going to take a trip to Kazakhstan very soon. My sister kept referring to Kazakhstan and other places in East Asia and Central Asia as like the middle of nowhere. And I was like, what do you mean the middle of nowhere? It was so funny because I've traveled to 30 countries. I'm like, how could you say something like that? Like, how could you say Kazakhstan or Mongolia or any of these other places are in the middle of nowhere? Of course, they're not in the middle of nowhere. They're its own country or countries and they have their own people. Like, come on. Also, my friend Micah, he came from China or he came from someplace. Anyways, he used to live here in Korea. He's American, he's African American just like me. And he was telling me about how there's a new group, there's a new band of African American travelers. Maybe these are just American travelers in general who will go to places like Bali and they will become digital nomads. They will be so entitled. They will treat these new places as if it were America. And it just gets me kind of mad as like an unofficial anthropologist. Come on, how could you have so much disrespect for the world? Like, of course, each country, you know, has its own uniqueness. Why would you say place is in the middle of nowhere? That whole sentence doesn't make Americans look good. It also made me think about people coming to Korea to travel or even to live. In the mass media, you can see Korea represented as like this, big hip place for K-pop, and you can just come here and enjoy yourself. But I wonder if people really understand that that's not all that Korea is. Yeah, we've all heard of the nuisance live streamer Johnny Somali. He came to Korea, he's been in Japan, he's been in a lot of places, and people like this definitely don't have any understanding of the world around them. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking maybe they do. Yeah, but that could be a topic for another day. I just really want to know. I wonder, Americans or people who are coming here to Korea to live, like, do you actually understand that Korea is not just a place for entertainment? It's not just a place that you see on K-dramas. It's a country. There's like actual people here. I've done a video about this before, about how people depict Korea as K-pop. And Korea is not K-pop. It's very disconcerting to hear people continue to say Korea or other countries don't have their own unique values. They don't have their own unique culture. They're just not countries. They're places in the middle of nowhere. I especially hate to hear Americans say that because it plays into the stereotype that Americans are dumb as far as geography is concerned. Korea is definitely fun to live in. It's fun to visit. There's other things that are happening here. Korea also has poverty. Korea has crime. Korea has, some not so good things, just like every other country in the world. Sure, it's not as comparable as Western countries. Like the crime rate is very low, I think, in my opinion, compared to Western countries like the United States or France or England. Korea is a country that has its goods and its bads, just like every other place in the world. Yo, I have no idea what this is. Like two hands folding. I see a lot of foreigners over here looking at it. They're playing the Gangnam Style song like in the background. Okay, I understand. Another thing that made me realize that my sister and probably a lot of other Americans, I'll say Americans because I'm American, don't really understand that much about Korea is the question that she asked me. She said, Mark, if I come to Korea, do you think there's any possibility of me being able to work in the banking industry or in the real estate industry? And I was like, huh? What do you mean? Korea is a very closed society. It's starting to open up now because of globalization, but usually the jobs like real estate or banking or even transportation is covered by ethnic Koreans. Ethnic Koreans usually do those jobs. I have heard that a lot of Southeast Asians come to Korea so they can work in the countryside on the farms and things like that. As far as like the blue collar and white collar jobs are concerned, the overwhelmingly percentage of those jobs are controlled by ethnic Koreans. And I went on to tell my sister that I've only seen 2 cases where that is the exception. I've seen one foreigner who was actually the conductor of one of the metro lines here in Seoul. It was a foreigner, I think the foreigner is from Europe or someplace, but it was like, what in the world is going on? You get on the train and, you know, there's a foreigner who's the conductor of the metro. I wonder like how Koreans would, you know, respond or react to that. Maybe they think it's kind of cool. Maybe they think it's kind of hip. I don't know. I'm not Korean. I'm just thinking like from my point of view, if I were Korean and I saw like a physically different looking foreigner operating one of my metros, and I'm used to seeing only Koreans operate these metros or buses, I would be a little like weirded out. Yeah. And my sister was like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, Korea is a really homogenous society. It's really closed. They're only starting to open up. They're opening up, of course, very quickly. You'll still not see many foreigners in those typical blue collar or white collar jobs. There was also a time when I was walking downtown in Gangnam and I saw a foreigner, maybe from the Middle East, but he was working on the road. It was like a construction worker. It was so foreign to me. It was so strange that I stopped and I talked to him. I asked if I could like take a photo. He said no, of course, which is like understandable. It was just, it was so shocking for me to see a foreigner doing a job that a Korean would normally do here in the city. This may sound funny, but it kind of touches on another aspect, and that is respect. When you're traveling, you must respect other cultures. I talk about this often in my videos. Cultural relativism. Each culture is right according to how it lives, according to how it operates. I feel like if you think that Korea or Mongolia or Kazakhstan or Vietnam or Thailand, any place, you know, other than the United States is in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of like you're placing those countries and the people of those countries under the United States in terms of value. Kind of like you're dismissing them. You're like, okay, these people in Georgia, Turkmenistan, or wherever, like they're in the middle of nowhere. You don't really have to, you know, pay them respect. I'm not saying that that's not what people do or think. It could be the case. This place is in the middle of nowhere. Maybe they don't have access to technology. Maybe they don't have access to societal norms that exist in the United States, which means that they are under me. I love traveling around the world representing the United States and representing African Americans as well. Even though I don't really like to fall into this whole ethnic category, but I think a lot of people do. I'm just human. Okay, I like traveling around the world representing good humans. That's all I want to say. All right. When traveling around the world, one thing you want to do is make sure that you respect every person wherever you go, regardless if you think that they're from a country that is in the middle of nowhere, or if they're from a country that you think or view is poorer than America or poorer than the home country where you hail. I've been to Mongolia 3 times, and Mongolia has a very small population. I think it's like 3.2, maybe 3.5 million. Mongolia doesn't have the infrastructure that Korea has. It doesn't have, in a lot of places, some places it does, but in a lot of places it doesn't. It doesn't have the infrastructure that the United States has. But Mongolia is probably my favorite country to visit. Like seriously, I love that place. I don't know why I love Mongolia so much, but I love being in that country. Funny thing is that in my culture classes at the university where I teach, I taught my students about Mongolia and Kazakhstan this fall semester, and I love Kazakhstan as well. At the end of the semester, I asked my students, like, which country or which culture did you like learning about the most? 85% of my students put Mongolia, and then the rest are like Kazakhstan and then Uzbekistan. Or no, it was Uzbekistan and then Kazakhstan. Yeah. And I was like, why is that? And they said, oh, it seemed like you had more energy when you were explaining about Mongolia than you had with the other countries. So it made us really like listening to your stories. But Mongolia, as I said, doesn't have the infrastructure that the United States has or that Korea has. But still, when I go to Mongolia, I respect the people because they're humans just like me. I don't think that, oh, Mongolia, you know, is a country in the middle of nowhere. When I go to Mongolia or when I go to Uzbekistan or when I go to other places, I'm like, this is cool. I'm in someone else's country. I want to, of course, abide by their rules, their laws. I want to respect them. I don't want to treat that country as if it were the United States or Korea. I just want to say for Americans who are coming here, because I'm American, if you're coming to Korea to live, please remember that Korea is a country that has its own rules, own laws, own cultures, own values, own customs that you must respect when you come here. Korea actually has walls and buildings that are older than the United States of America. It has fortresses, other cultural icons that are older than the United States of America. So when you come to Korea, even if you don't have like this innate ability to respect a place, you should still, do your best to try to respect Korea. It's much older than the United States, just carries a lot of the world's history with it. I mean, I don't know, for me, I love history. I love, old cultures. I love ancient stuff. I love old things. When I go to places and I'm like, wow, that thing is thousands of years old. Ooh, whoa, that's older than my country. Wow, look at what Seoul is doing. They're really getting ready for Christmas with this art show. Imagine how this place will look at night. Oh my goodness. Wow, 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 wow. Amazing. Yo, it's so cool. They even have a photo booth over there. You can go in there and take your own photos. Korea is good for that. I say it often. Being able to go places and like take your own photos is so nice. I love it. And you can come here and just walk around very freely. You don't have to worry about anyone knocking down the trees or trying to take anything. It's so wonderfully safe here and so amazing. Whoa. That's so nice. Really big smile on your face when you come and see this. And also listening to the music at the same time. Yo, this place would really be nice at night. Can you find organized Christmas events like this in the United States that are clean? And there's no one like around trying to steal your wallets or anything like that. If you're in the United States or if you're in, other European countries or whatever, like this is amazing. Yo, it's cool because a lot of people are just walking through the area I just showed you. They're foreigners and Koreans, and when they walk through, you can see the biggest smiles that appear on their faces. My goodness, that is a tall tower. Yeah, so it just makes me kind of upset, first of all, that Americans have this stereotype that we're not good at geography. I think a lot of Americans are. I think, well, I don't know if I can say a lot, but I think most Americans know where places are, and a lot of Americans would respect places, that are not America. But this video is for those other Americans who believe that other countries are in the middle of nowhere, or that other countries are under the United States because they don't have the same infrastructure, or they might not have the same like monetary value or I guess economy as the United States. Like, please don't go to other countries and give Americans a bad name. If you go to other countries, please respect those people, respect the cultures, respect their history. Because if you give respect, you're gonna get respect in return. Not only will you get respect in return, sometimes you'll get gifts as well. You'll get free stuff. Wow, I love that music. I guess this is the perfect place to end this video. So yeah, please guys, be respectful wherever you go. Countries are not just places that exist outside of America or outside of your home country. Other countries are places where people live. People have a history, people have values, people want respect, they're working for their living, they're doing what they can to take care of their children. Another country is the same as your home country. There are good things and there are bad things always. So thanks a lot guys for watching. As always, I want to give a shout out to my membership members, Coco, Cook, and Nagada. Thanks a lot for joining the channel. If you want to join as a member, feel free to hit that membership button. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I'm good. I'll be good. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining me. Love you guys. Hope you are loving your loved ones. As always, you're staying hydrated, you're eating well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.